Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. You know, there used to be an ice cream shop that advertised 31 flavors. Now, most of them were your standard flavors, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Sometimes a little less than usual flavors like chocolate mint or peach. But occasionally there are less common flavors like banana cream or salty pistachio. And they had these little bitty spoons, and you could ask for a free taste of any ice cream. They didn't really like it if you got a free taste of all the different flavors and then didn't buy any ice cream. But Christianity's not like that. We're not supposed to pick and choose from the flavors of things and take what we like and ignore what we don't. Paul says in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 5 through 8, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. There is one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, in all, and living through all. However, he has given each one of us a special gift through the generosity of Christ. That's why the scriptures say when he ascended to the heights, he led a crowd of captives and gave gifts to his people. He says there's one Lord, one master in charge. Jesus is the Lord. He is the one in charge. He has been lifted up above everything, and God has given him everything. He says there's one faith, one belief in Jesus Christ and his resurrection, one God. He gives several descriptions. He says he's the Father of all. He says he's over all. Everything's under his dominion. He is in all and living through all. That refers to the relationship of the Christians with God. That God has come and set up his home in our hearts and our lives, and he is living in us and through us and making a difference in who we are by his indwelling presence through the Holy Spirit. It is a beautiful relationship with God. And then he says God gives a special gift to each individual. Now that's where the variation comes in, because the gifts are only limited by the creative power of God, who is unlimited. And God generously gives. One time I was going through a buffet line and I asked for some green beans. And the mean old lady behind the counter gave me 3 green beans. And I asked if I could have some more. And she gave me 1 more. I thought 4 green beans, they're not very generous. The next buffet I went to, they just had a big spoon and you put all the green beans on there you wanted. God's buffet has his cup running over and he gives generously, more than I can imagine. And then he gives a quote from Psalm 68 about where the Lord went up on Mount Sinai, surrounded by the Hebrew people. And he led that large crowd of captives, those former slaves, and he gave gifts. In the specific case that the psalmist is referring to of God on Mount Sinai, he gave gifts for building, metalworking, sewing, goldsmithing, carpentry, every gift needed to build the ark and the tabernacle. Paul lists different kinds of gifts when he gives lists of gifts, and he's going to give a couple that we're going to see before we get through Ephesians. But God's giftedness and the gifts God gives his people are as wide and varied and unlimited as you can imagine. In fact, beyond our imagination. And we ought to be grateful for the gifts we've got. He gives wonderful, marvelous gifts and keeps giving. Please, today, be appreciative of the indwelling Holy Spirit and the gifts he has given you. And may you use your gifts for God's kingdom this week. God bless you.